The first thing we need to do in the assembly is to baste the pieces together where we can. We'll start by basting the beaded section to its lining. The stitches can be very large, and it doesn't matter if you can see them, because you're going to pull them out later on. You want to make sure that you baste right through all the layers, big stitches so you can get them, except up at the top where the stitches should be smaller, because you can actually leave those in. Now with the leather, you can really only baste it to the lining along the top edge where it's going to be inserted into the frame. You don't want to make visible holes in the leather. When it comes time to join the leather and lining to the gusset, we'll find other ways to secure it. Now we'll make the alignment marks that will make it possible for us to arrange all the pieces so they fit together properly. The easiest way to do this is to fold the pieces in half along their center line and make a mark on the inside where it won't be visible, using a pen or a dark pencil again. The alignment marks should be made at the bottom center of both the leather and the beadwork, and on both sides of the center of the gusset. The method we're going to use to secure all these pieces together is a standard bead edging, which is really a modification of the famous brick stitch. You're going to be sewing through 3 layers, so you do want to keep your glovers sharp. Remember this guy, that silly tomato that your mothers and grandmothers all had floating around when they sewed? Well, it's not silly anymore. When your glovers start to dull, and they will, you'll be able to sharpen them in the chili pepper section of the little tomato. Run the needle back and forth through the chili pepper, squeezing the sand as you do so, and it will sharpen it very nicely. It's marvelous. Make a sandwich with the leather side of the gusset outward, the lining of the beadwork inside, and the beadwork facing out on the other side. The wrong side of the lining and the threaded side of the beadwork should be facing each other. Secure a thread in the back of the nonwoven near the center mark and bring it out of the front of the beadwork. Make 1 looped stitch through all 3 layers. Now pick up an edging bead and make the same loop. When you tighten the thread, the bead will sit on the edge of all 3 layers. Run the thread through the bead again and tighten everything. Now the bead is going to sit upward with the hole facing away from the layered edges. We're going to work outward from the center in either direction, up to the end of the straight edge of the beaded area on the side of the front of the bag. Pick up another bead and run the needle through all 3 layers, making sure you're about 1 bead's width away, and far enough into the layers so you're sure you've caught all 3. Now run the needle through this second bead from the inside to the outside and tighten the thread, so this bead sits neatly on the layered edge. It will fall in place better than the first bead. And that's really all there is to the edging. You're going to just keep working bead after bead, being careful not to crowd the beads, adjusting the layers around the curved edges as you need to, until you reach the top of the straight section of the beaded area. This is just about where the hinge on the frame will land. You might find it easier to push the needle through 2 layers first, and then push it through the 3rd layer before you pull the needle all the way through. We had you cut the gusset a little bit long to allow for differences in stitch tension. So when you get to that top of the straight edge, you may find that you've got a little bit of extra gusset leather. Later on you can trim it straight across, but wait until you have the back leather stitched onto the gusset before you do this. Now layer the leather with its lining with the wrong sides together, match up the alignment marks to the gusset, and add the edging beads all around so that the leather is secured to the gusset in the same way that the beaded front is attached. You can see here that we've already trimmed off the gussets.